Mr. Fallon is recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I apologize for not being there in person, but a virus other than COVID has gotten me for a few days. Thank you, General McConville and Secretary Wormuth, for testifying today and for both of your decades of service to our country. General McConville, if I can start with you first, I know that we share a passion for our soldiers, their safety and their well-being, and really their development as well. And I want to applaud your track record of emphasizing personnel issues. In short, you have a tremendous affection for the troops, and that shows through your actions. That in that vein, I'd like to ask, and to address a current situation the Army finds itself in, with that could be interpreted as unfortunately neglecting soldier safety and unnecessarily wasting taxpayer money. What I'm referring to is the Humvee. 150 of our soldiers have been killed in stateside accidents, preventable Humvee rollovers during training. I know that you find this just as unacceptable and as important as I do. To address this, the Army has developed a plan to simultaneously introduce new Humvees to the fleet while upgrading existing vehicles with the Army already considers new or modernized. Additionally, the Army is fielding replacement for the Humvee, the JLTV, with an anti-rollover technology already installed. And I support this above this overall approach. However, I was extremely concerned when I saw the budget request with a mere $10 million in funding the upgrades, because the upgrades are much cheaper and we can do them quicker. With the $10 million amounts to only upgrading 1% of the 54,000 vehicle fleet, and retrofitting and rendering them safe, it's quicker and it's cheaper. This gap can't be filled by only new vehicles, which it really does translate, in my humble opinion, to putting soldiers' lives at risk without critical safety upgrades. As I mentioned, the cost for fielding a new MV is about $400,000 and upgrading 17,000. General, with this in mind, is why do you think the Army appears to be content to pursue what some could say would be a less safe path and a more expensive one? And I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this, sir.
Well, Congress, I appreciate the concern. As you said, we have a tremendous concern for the life, health, and safety of our soldiers. We do have a strategy, and quite frankly, if we'll take your comments and take a look at that strategy. But like you said, that is what we are doing. We are taking existing vehicles and putting the new braking system on them. We are also purchasing new Humvees. And the third is, which we're really trying to get to, is the Joint Light Tactical Vehicle within the resources we have. But I'll go back and take a look at that. If there's a life, health, safety issue, that's something we can get after.
General, what would need to happen to ensure the program could be completed as quickly as possible? Because it seems to me retrofitting would be quicker than waiting for new Humvees to come online. And I understand that if we have very old Humvees, it's probably not wise to retrofit them. It'd just be easier to replace them. But some of the newer ones, or the ones that have, about half their life left, might make it until the JLTV.
Well, I owe you a better answer, Congressman, to take a look at that. I mean, the intent, just like you said, some of our Humvees are really old. They've been around a long time, and quite frankly, we don't want to invest in them because we may be fixing one safety issue, but we may be going into another safety issue. And so we owe a look at that. We certainly want to make sure that every system our soldiers have, especially when it comes to life, health, and safety. We're not going to put our soldiers in something that's unsafe. And we just got to figure out the best way to do it. You brought up a good point, and we'll take a look at it.
General, thank you. Secretary Wormuth, I just want to let you know that in a letter dated May 1st, myself, and 13 of my colleagues wrote a letter to then Acting Secretary of the Army, Whitley, about my concerns that I just talked to the General about. And I just wanted to make you aware of it as well. And then in closing, and I'll yield back, there was a comment made earlier about the fact that there's systemic racism in this country. And I just want to, for the record, say that I respectfully, but patently and vociferously disagree. But that is a topic and a conversation and a debate for another day. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it, and I yield back.
Thank you. Ms. Murphy is recognized for 5 minutes.